Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravarni Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadesha. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for inviting me here. Just before we start, I'd like everyone to take out your cell phone. First thing, take out your cell phone and switch it off. And if you'd like to take photos, please do so after the class. Also, these boys are running around, so we have serious things to talk about, so the parents should keep the children under control. They shouldn't be running around during this class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. What's the plan for keeping the boys under control? Is there any plan? No. So he's going to... The mother should just come and take him out, that's all. Mother or father or whatever. Sorry if it seems harsh, but we have important things to discuss. So what was the subject? Problems and how to solve them? Something like that? Okay. Alright, it's a long purport. Okay. Alright then, so let's read that. Manushyanang sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mang veti tatvatah manushyanang sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mang veti tatvatah. So from these words of Krishna we can understand how fortunate a person is to take to Krishna consciousness, and particularly to take to Krishna consciousness as Srila Prabhupada describes it here. So hearing this you might question, well, are there different kinds of Krishna consciousness? Well, pure Krishna consciousness is in essence one, in the sense that pure Krishna consciousness means a person simply wants to serve Krishna. You can put this Bhagavad-gita on the table rather than on your feet. With no personal desire. This is far above the platform of eating, sleeping, mating and defending, which Srila Prabhupada describes in this purport. Within pure devotional service there are also varieties. Some pure devotees are worshippers of Lord Ram, others of Lord Krishna, others of Lord Vamana. They concentrate their bhakti on one particular form of the Lord. And even within pure devotional service to Krishna, some people prefer to worship him as the chariot driver of Arjuna, some as Lord Dwarkadhish, some as Krishna in Vrindavan. Among worshippers of Krishna in Vrindavan, some like to think of him as a young boy to be nourished. They like to think of him as a young boy who they are feeding and dressing and so on. And there are other varieties of devotion to Krishna in Vrindavan, most famously that of the gopis of Vrindavan. So anyone who can take to this pure devotional service is most fortunate. Generally, as Srila Prabhupada writes here, generally mankind is simply engaged in the animal propensities, namely eating, sleeping, defending and mating. And hardly anyone is interested in transcendental knowledge. Now, of course, it is possible and quite common to be a devotee of Krishna, but still be largely absorbed in the matters of eating, sleeping, defending and mating, and not be particularly interested in transcendental knowledge. Generally, people take to religion for the sake of facilitating their material position. But transcendental knowledge can begin when one realizes that this life of eating, sleeping, mating and defending, trying to enjoy the senses, is empty and meaningless. So it is possible to be a devotee of Krishna and not be on the transcendental platform. This Lord Krishna himself describes as Lord in the form of Lord Kapila in the Srimad Bhagavatam. He describes different levels of devotees. Someone may be largely influenced by tamoguna, the mode of ignorance, and be a devotee of Krishna. Someone can worship Krishna but with the idea of engaging Krishna to help fulfill their very low kinds of propensities and desires. Similarly, someone may worship Krishna in Rajoguna, the mode of passion, or in Sattvaguna, the mode of goodness. But what Krishna is speaking about here in this verse, and what Srila Prabhupada speaks about repeatedly throughout his books, what Srila Prabhupada really came to give is pure devotional service to Krishna. Pure devotional service to Krishna is the path of actual benefit for every living being. Now, people often see members of ISKCON, followers of Srila Prabhupada, and they think, well, it's another religion. Some people pray to Jesus, some people pray to Buddha, some people pray to Murugan, and some people pray to Krishna. But the idea of everyone is that you pray to whoever you're praying to bless you, so that you can live happily in this world, and in future also after death you can be protected and continue to live happily. And it might be relatively easy to try to bring people to Krishna consciousness by offering them some material benefits. For instance, we can tell them, give so much money and we will bless you so your life will be nice. Of course, there's no guarantee that life will be nice. Krishna is not obliged to do what we tell him to do. And Krishna's real benediction is not to keep us in the illusion of being nice in this material world. His real benediction are his teachings in Bhagavad-gita, wherein Krishna very clearly states that the nature of this material world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. It is full of suffering and everything here is temporary. So it shouldn't be thought that the members of this International Society for Krishna Consciousness are in some kind of religious competition with Christians, Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims, or whatever. Or that it's another type of the same thing that is served up in the churches and temples and other religious institutions. Now, of course, everyone likes to say our path is the best. And the Srimad Bhagavatam starts off by professing to be the best instruction. This Krishna conscious movement is based on the teachings of Bhagavad-gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. But why is it the best? That is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam in the very beginning. Dharma projhita kaitava atra. Within this Srimad Bhagavatam, all kind of cheating in the name of religion is completely rejected. it gives a reason why this Srimad Bhagavatam is the highest teaching. Because basically what goes on in the name of religion in the world is invoking some higher power to enhance our eating, sleeping, defending and mating. So it's not really on the spiritual or transcendental platform. Of course there may be people who see that this world is full of suffering, and their whole process of religion is how to get free from suffering. But that also falls far short of pure devotional service. Pure devotional service means to be situated in a constitutional position of loving service to Krishna. So again, as Srila Prabhupada states here, generally mankind is simply engaged in the animal propensities, namely eating, sleeping, defending and mating. And some people might be interested in siddhi. By the word siddhi here, we can understand from Srila Prabhupada's purport, means to go beyond the platform of simply eating, sleeping, defending and mating. To be interested in transcendental knowledge. As Srila Prabhupada points out in this purport, the first 6 chapters of the Gita are meant for those who are interested in transcendental knowledge, in understanding the self, the super self, and the process of realization by Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and discrimination of the self from matter. So that means to be interested in siddhi, in attaining spiritual perfection. However, Srila Prabhupada continues in his purport, Krishna can be known only by persons who are in Krishna consciousness. So to understand that this world is miserable is a beginning in spiritual life. And to want to make a solution to that, that means to positively cultivate spiritual life. But if we think that the solution is only to become free from suffering, it's not really full perfection. If someone is suffering from a serious disease, their main goal in life may be, at that time, to be get free from the suffering of the disease. May concentrate all his energies on just getting free from that disease. But when he becomes healthy, what does he do? Simply to be healthy is, it's a big step forward if you're seriously sick. But then what do you do if you just sit around and say, now I'm healthy? Now, the situation in this material world is disease, spiritually diseased situation. It's actually a very horrible situation. To suffer repeated birth and death. Most people are completely in illusion and they're trying to be happy in a world of suffering. People who are more intelligent see that this world is full of suffering and they try to get out of this situation. But persons who are more intelligent still think that, well, what am I doing? What is our ultimate engagement? If we can understand why we're in this material world, then we can treat the disease of material existence at its very root. Now, that very root is described, Krishna bhuli se jivanadi bahirmukh ataiv maya tare daya samsar dukh. We are suffering the illusion. We are suffering we are suffering this material world in illusion because of having forgotten Krishna, having become inimical toward his service. So the real solution is to remember Krishna and to be desirous to serve him. To understand this in truth is the path to the highest perfection. It may seem very difficult to understand Krishna. It shouldn't be very difficult to understand. Specifically, Srila Prabhupada presented all the deep truths of the Shastra in a very simple and straightforward way so that everyone could easily understand them. The point is very simple. We are eternal servants of Krishna. Krishna is the eternal master, we are his eternal servant. Forgetting him, we suffer in this material world. If we again take up his service, then we become fully happy. It's very easy to understand. You don't have to be a super genius, Einstein type to understand this. But then why can't many people, even who are superficially very intelligent, understand this? It's a matter of disposition, attitude. It's not simply a matter of mundane intelligence. According to someone's previous good or not good activities, one is born with a high or low level of intelligence. Occasionally there may be someone born with the intelligence of Einstein. Remarkably intelligent. Remarkably. Is there any word for that apart from Ramba? Particularly Visheshamana. But even he was so intelligent, but in another sense he wasn't very intelligent at all, because he didn't ask the right questions, he didn't investigate the right subject. A really intelligent person thinks, why are we suffering in this world? What is the solution? So such a person is very rare. Although within the spiritual culture of India, it's relatively common compared to other places in the world, because these teachings are propagated therein. But still, most people, even if they hear this, they don't really get it. If we give a whole class on how miserable this material world is, people will sit and listen, okay, probably true, they'll think. But that they require to radically alter the whole attitude and direction of their life so as to get free from this suffering, it never occurs to them. That they have to radically change their life so to live in such a way to get free from this suffering, that thought never occurs to them. Maybe they think, well, when I'm older, I'll do something about it. But for most people, even if they hear about how miserable this material world is, and even if they theoretically agree to that or understand it, it just seems too much for them to try to live their life in such a way that they can be free from suffering. So very few people are interested in siddhi, or being serious about getting free from suffering in this material world. And still less are interested in surrendering to Krishna. What's the word for surrender? Sharana. It sounds surrender. Sharana. It sounds almost the same, huh? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made it particularly easy for us fallen souls in the present age. But of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught on the basis of Gita and Bhagavatam. He taught, as do the Gita and the Bhagavatam, that not only that we should chant Hare Krishna, but we should understand this material world is simply miserable. Because as long as we're thinking this material world is a nice place, then even though we may be chanting Hare Krishna, we won't make very quick progress. Srila Prabhupada has very kindly given us all his books, among which the most prominent and well-known is this Bhagavad-gita as it is. So please study it carefully, take advantage of his teachings, and take the opportunity to become a very rare Mahatma by going beyond materialism, materialistic religion, materially tinged Krishna consciousness, and become a pure devotee of Krishna, a lover of Krishna. Simply to understand this world is miserable is a good start in spiritual life, but ultimately we want that our hearts will melt in love of Krishna. Yugayatam nimeshena chakshusha pravrishayatam shunyayatam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught this perfection of love for Krishna. Feeling separation from Krishna, we feel a moment to be like 12 years or more. The whole world feels absent, useless, empty without Krishna. This is the great opportunity Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us through Srila Prabhupada, and his society, ISKCON, is propagating these teachings, how to become a pure lover of Krishna with no material desire. Is far, far above the platform of even the great Gyanis and Yogis, and what to speak of materialistic people. Hare Krishna. Any question about this place? Yeah.
Guru Maharaj, what is the devotional service in Sattva Guna and devotional service on transcendental platform? What is the conditioning? Apparently externally looks the same.
In Sattva Guna, that's described, there's a say the question, Tamil. Yeah. Performing devotional service in Sattva Guna, there's some tendency toward personal liberation, whereas in pure devotional service one is simply attracted by the name, form, qualities and pastimes of Krishna. In Sattva Guna there's still some personal interest. It's not exactly on the platform of love for Krishna. Anything else? Okay, so we'll finish there. Thank you very much for coming. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.